Welcome to the Registration 101 presentation for Canadian high school students for September 2026 entry. Thank you for joining today's Registration 101 webinar and welcome to UVic. Before we get started, I'd like to share that we at UVic acknowledge and respect the Lekwungen peoples on whose territory the University of Victoria stands and the Lekwungen and Wasanic peoples whose historical relationships with the land continue to this day. We're grateful to live and learn on these lands and can't wait for you to be officially welcomed to the territory when you join us in September. I'd also like to say congratulations. You've worked hard through high school and received a conditional offer of admission to UVic. Wherever you're from or whatever your future plans include, I'm confident you'll find everything you're looking for at UVic. A beautiful campus, community of new friends from every corner of the world, and world-class academics and co-op work experience that will prepare you for a successful career. Keep up the great work for now, and we look forward to welcoming you in the fall. So what's next at this stage? What we'll cover over the course of this presentation will include academic requirements, program planning, tips and resources, course registration, supports and resources, and some actionable next steps. So the beginning point is to register for a NetLink ID. You've likely already completed this step, but if you haven't already, creating your NetLink ID is a very important step. Submitting your acceptance deposit as soon as possible is also quite important, especially if you've received an offer quite recently, and arrange for your final grades to be reported or submitted to UVic as soon as possible. So now we'll cover academic requirements. Sending in your grades is a critical step in the conditional admissions process. Even if your offer was based on interim or in-progress transcripts, we'll need a copy of your final transcripts as soon as they're ready. So arrange for your final grades to be reported or submitted to UVic as soon as possible. And depending on where you're joining from, there are several different ways to submit your final transcripts. You'll arrange for your final grades to be reported or submitted to UVic as soon as possible. In the cases of IB students, arrange for the IBO to send your official transcript to UVic electronically. And for AP students, specifically if you're writing the exams for AP courses, arrange for the College Board to send your official transcript to UVic electronically. If you've completed a post-secondary course during your high school studies, you may be eligible for transfer credit. Transfer credit is determined on a course-by-course basis, and in order to be considered for transfer credit, you'll need to contact your post-secondary institution directly to request transcripts to be sent to UVic. Now for some common terminology that we'll use throughout this presentation and you'll hear throughout your time at the University of Victoria. Undergraduate is a student pursuing their first degree, typically a bachelor's degree or a level of study associated with those initial programs, the first degree after high school. Graduate level studies is a student who has already completed an undergraduate degree and is pursuing advanced studies, such as a master's or doctorate level study. A degree is an official academic title awarded by a university upon the successful completion of a program of study. Faculty, in the context of UVic, is a large administrative division within a university, for example, the Faculty of Science or Faculty of Humanities, that groups together related academic disciplines. Department is a smaller unit within a faculty associated or focused on a specific field of study, for example, the Department of Biology within the Faculty of Science, that manages specific courses and professors. A major is the primary area or specialization a student focuses on during their degree and requires the highest number of credits in that specific field. A minor is a secondary subject area that a student chooses to explore alongside their major. It requires fewer credits and provides a breadth of knowledge in a different field. A concentration is a specific track or subspecialization within a major. For example, biology major with a concentration in marine biology and allows for a deeper focus on a particular niche. There are 11 different undergraduate degrees awarded at the University of Victoria, and this is a quick visual of what the short forms are for all of those and what those short forms stand for. For planning your degree, you want to first consider university-wide requirements, including the academic writing requirement. The bulk of this presentation will focus on the specific course requirements for your program, and then there may be additional requirements associated with your program, including if your program requires participation in the co-op program or practicum placements. The academic writing requirement ensures that you have the reading, writing, and research skills you'll need to successfully complete your studies, and every student enrolled in an undergraduate degree program must complete the AWR to graduate from UVic. When you enroll, you'll be informed if you have already met the AWR based on your previous studies. If not, you could take an AWR associated designated course at UVic. Program planning. Some common registration terminology would include program versus course. Program is the overall degree or diploma you are working toward. For example, a Bachelor of Science in Biology would be considered a program. And then a course is an individual unit of study within a subject. For example, Biology 184 is a course within the biology program. Required versus elective. A required course is required for your planned degree. Specific course that you must pass in order to earn that degree. And then an elective or elective courses, those are courses that you choose to take to fulfill total unit requirements for your degree. These can be restricted or free, meaning they can be restricted in that they have to be from a certain faculty or year level, or free. They could be any subject area. A unit is UVic's measure of academic credit. Most standard one-term courses are worth 1.5 units. A full year course is typically 3.0 units. A prerequisite is a course that you must successfully complete before taking the next one, and a co-requisite is a course that you must take at the same time or have already completed before another course. A section is a specific time, location slot for a course. One course may have multiple sections. For example, for Biology 184, there won't just be one Biology 184 offering. There will be multiple sections of that course offered on different days and different times of the day. A lecture is the primary instructional period where the professor presents material associated with a course. A lab is a hands-on application or experiments common in sciences and the engineering, and tutorials are small group sessions led by a TA, generally, to discuss lecture material or work towards solving problems. And a course reference number, or CRN, is a unique 5-digit code assigned to a specific section of a course in a specific term. You use this number to register, either directly by inputting that number or indirectly by, well, we'll get to that later. And then definitions of full-time and part-time, that depends. The standard full course load for a term, full course load, would be 5 courses per term, or 7.5 units of study per term. 4 courses is still considered full-time in the eyes of UVic scholarship programs. And then as long as you're in 3 courses per term, that is considered full-time as required for financial aid purposes like student loans and bursaries, and to remain eligible for on-campus housing. So when you're picking your courses, you'll check the academic calendar to see if it has prerequisites or co-requisites. As discussed, a prerequisite is a course or requirement that must be completed before you can take that other course, and a co-requisite is a course that you might have taken before that other course, but if you haven't, you are required to take it at the same time as that other course in question. For new students, prerequisites won't be checked until the start of term, but for subsequent years, you'll need to have the prerequisite satisfied before you're able to register for a class. In rare cases, the prerequisites or co-requisites for a particular course may be waived, but in that case, you would need to contact the academic department to request permission. Any waivers you have been granted will show on the registration status page. Some important resources as we delve into the program planning process: program worksheets, the academic calendar itself, the online course timetable, and the registration tutorials. Visit uvic.ca/program-planning and select Program Worksheets, which will take you to this page. You'll then search for your program and select the PDF worksheet. So here's an example of the program planning worksheet for the History Major Bachelor of Arts program. These sheets give you a high-level view of what you would take in year 1, 2, 3, and 4 of your degree, both in terms of required courses and elective courses. You'll note in the first year of the history major, you have 2 courses that are specifically required, History 100, and then another history course that's coded at the 100 or 200 level, and then an approved AWR course. If you have already successfully attained the AWR through prior study, then instead of taking another AWR course, you have an additional elective slot, and then the rest of your first year is made up of elective courses. Here's an example of the software engineering program planning worksheet, which looks quite different from the history program. In this program, there are virtually no elective courses. It is mostly a set curriculum with required courses almost all the way through. Another example of a program planning worksheet for the visual arts major. This one kind of falls in between, where it has some required courses, some elective courses, and then quite a level of freedom in terms of even the required courses in upper years. There are many different course options that you can choose from to satisfy the upper year requirements for this program. And here we have the biology major. You'll see again a mix of required courses in the first and second year, and really third and fourth year as well, but also elective courses really at every year level. A couple points, just in closing with the program worksheets, you'll notice throughout many of them will have an asterisk at some point. Well, you can't see it on the screen here. If you scroll down on the actual program worksheet, it will have more information related to that asterisk. And also on this one, for example, you could see in year 1, 5 lines down, math 100, 102, or 109. And then you'll see just to the right of that under unit weighting, it's only 1.5 units. So you're not taking each of those math courses, just one of them. But how do you know which one to take? And in explaining that, it's a good opportunity to highlight that many of these program worksheets are hyperlinked to the academic calendar, where you can click on one of these options and it will link you to the course description where you can review more information about the course to determine which course might be the right one for you. So we'll try that now. So here's one of them, Math 102, Calculus for Students in the Social Science and Biological Sciences. These will generally also provide a brief description of the course, the unit weighting, how many hours per week of lecture, lab, or tutorial time is associated with this course. So in this case, it would be 3 hours of lecture time per week, no hours of lab or tutorial. Some brief notes, and then importantly, prerequisites. Are there any prerequisites required for this course? So this is one of those options. Here's another, Math 101, Calculus 2. It has 3 hours of lecture per week, 0 of lab, and 1 hour of tutorial time per week. Also has more information about the prerequisites associated with the course. And another option, Finite Mathematics, brief description, unit weighting, how many hours per week of lecture, lab, or tutorial, no notes associated with this one, or I guess a brief note, and then no prerequisites associated with the course. So when you're going through the program planning process, you are effectively building sample schedules. What is your day-to-day going to look like for the duration of the term that you're registering for? Here's an example of a sample schedule. This might be a student that enjoys morning classes and wants to leave their afternoons open. So it shows all the courses they have. They've also accounted for coffee time, dinner, meeting with profs, utilizing some of the resources on campus, some other student life activities that they're involved in. So you want to account for these things when you're building out your timetable. This is another example of a timetable taking the exact same courses, but with quite a different looking week. They don't have any classes before 11 a.m. still accounting for other responsibilities and hobbies and things outside of the academic schedule. But this serves to demonstrate that by going through and planning out your timetable consciously, you can have you get to tailor what your work week or your school week is going to look like. Some program planning tips. You want to explore your course options, what courses are required, and your elective courses. You want to look up those courses in advance. Take time to find out when each course is offered and what your schedule would look like. Again, accounting for things outside of your academics when trying to build that timetable. You want to build your timetable well ahead of your registration date and time. You can build up to 5 sample timetables in the registration system itself. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. If your course has an associated lab or tutorial, you need to add that to your timetable because you must register for those labs or tutorials in addition to the lecture component of your course. So an important question is when to register. You'll receive a registration email with your time ticket indicating when you can start registering for courses. You can register any time after that date and time stated in your time ticket, but don't wait too long to register. You want to register on your day and at your time because classes do fill up quickly. Registration emails are sent to the preferred email in your personal profile that you set up in Online Tools, and make sure if you haven't already done so to add uvic.ca to your safe email senders list so you don't miss any important emails. You can check your registration status in Online Tools after you receive that registration email from UVic. To access the University of Victoria student registration system, click Sign In on our homepage, uvic.ca, at the top right of your screen here. You'll then log into Online Tools with your Netlink ID and password. You'll then go to Student Services in the top left-hand corner of the page. Once you're in your Online Tools, click Registration Status under the Registration header. Select the appropriate term or terms from the drop-down and click Continue. While this slide only shows the fall term, you're encouraged to register for both fall and spring terms at the same time. So you'll first go in and register for first term, and then you'll go back in and register for your spring term courses at the same time. Your registration status for the term will be displayed through a few different indicators, including student status, holds on your account, and academic standing. If all 3 indicators show a green checkbox, you are eligible to register in the selected term. In blue, you'll also see your year standing, the earliest date and time you can register if a time has been assigned. This typically happens several weeks before registration begins. Any overrides that have been added on your behalf, most commonly a course prerequisite that has been waived by a department of school, will also be displayed in blue. The details of your academic program will also be displayed. If you do not meet all of the requirements for registration, one or more of the indicators will display in red. This might happen if you are not admitted for the selected term, you have a hold on your account that prohibits registration, or your academic standing does not permit registration. To receive a registration date, you need to submit your acceptance deposit if you haven't already. You'll receive an email to your preferred account once you have been assigned a registration date and time. This usually happens in the first week of June. Go to your Online Tools to check registration date and time. The course timetable available at uvic.ca/timetable and course registration will open in mid-June. Be sure to keep an eye out for the email with your assigned registration date and time. So how do you build a course plan in advance of registration? Course information is available through the academic calendar, which displays program information, course descriptions, and course prerequisites or other enrollment requirements. The course timetable lists all the sections of a course per term, including when the course is offered, what format it is offered in, and how many seats are remaining. After the course timetable is published on May 15th, you can search for courses to see which type of classes are required and when they're scheduled. Before you start building your plan, it's helpful to search for classes and familiarize yourself with what these look like. Go to your online tools, select Student Services, and choose Search for Classes under the registration header. You'll then select the appropriate term that you're planning for and click Continue. Enter one or more subjects or leave the subject field blank to search all subjects. You'll then enter a course number, or again, leave this field blank to search all courses. You can also use a wildcard character to search using a partial match. For example, to search all courses at the 100 level, enter a 1 and then a percentage character. The delivery mode filter can be used to search for a specific course delivery mode, including online courses. A number of other search filter criteria are available through the advanced search. And when you're ready, click the main search button. Search results are displayed as a grid showing details for each result, including the course title, section type and number, meeting times, and section status. Keep in mind that there may be multiple pages of results depending on the search criteria used, so scroll down. The meeting times column can be expanded to display the days, times, location, start date, and end date for each section. Sections with no days or times identified are most likely asynchronous. You can also check the section pop-up for details. By clicking on that section, you'll find details of the class, including instructional method. You'll notice this class is delivered fully online. From the pop-up, the course description notes will also show. This tab will provide a direct link to the academic calendar where you'll find a description of the course, similar to the ones we reviewed while exploring the different math options earlier. It will open a separate tab on your browser to view the calendar, so you don't have to worry about going back and forth. You can explore any of these sections like class details, which is open here. Returning to the search results, the section status column will display the number of seats available and, for courses at capacity, the number of spaces remaining on the waitlist. You may also see results that show both open seats and students on the waitlist. In these cases, the open seat or seats are reserved and have been offered to the students at the top of the waitlist. Courses with linked sections, such as labs or tutorials, will show a linked flag. You can click the View Linked button to see the associated sections. If you're planning to register in a linked course, make sure you add each of the required sections. For most courses, this will be a lecture and either a lab or tutorial. To begin another search, click the Search Again button. Now that you've familiarized yourself with searching individual courses, and when you're ready to build your plan, you can go back into Online Tools, select Student Services, and instead of clicking on Search for Classes, choose Plan Ahead under the registration header. Again, you'll select the appropriate term and click Continue. So you'll be presented with a list of any plans that you have already saved, but the first time you go in, it will look like this. You can save up to 5 course plans per term, and existing plans can be edited or deleted as needed. So in this case, we'll click Create a New Plan button. Now you can start searching for courses, much like we did earlier. You can use the filters to narrow your search by subject, course number, or delivery method. Search results are presented in a grid. Keep in mind there may be multiple pages of these results, so scroll down depending on the search criteria used. Click the View Sections button to view all lecture, lab, and tutorial sections offered for a course. Make sure you add specific sections of a course to your plan rather than just the course itself, otherwise it won't show up on your visual schedule. Section results will list the meeting times and number of seats remaining. If a course requires registration in more than one section type, for example, a lecture and a lab, you will see the linked section label in the section status column. When you're ready to add a section to your plan, click the Add button. The section will be added to your plan summary. If the section is offered synchronously, that is at a particular date and time, it will also show up on your visual schedule. So you'll repeat this process and continue adding sections until you are satisfied with your plan. Use the visual schedule to help identify any scheduling conflicts and be sure to save your plan. Once you see the pop-up box, enter a name for your plan and click Save. Once your plan is saved, you will see a notification that the changes were successful, and sections will show up as planned in both the visual schedule and summary panels. If you later decide to remove a section from a plan, change the action to delete and save again. Saved plans can be viewed from the Plan Ahead page as well as the Manage Registration page. From the Manage Registration page, you can add sections directly from your plans. It's important to highlight that courses added to a plan are not checked for prerequisites or other eligibility criteria. You are responsible for ensuring you have met or will meet the necessary requirements for any course you plan to take. Remember, the courses you select for won't be checked for prerequisites or other eligibility criteria when you first register. This will be done once classes start, so it's very important that you triple check that you have the prereqs for each class you take. Now, how to actually register or waitlist in a course. When it's your time to register, go to your online tools, select Student Services, and choose Manage Registration under the registration header. Just like before, select the appropriate term and click Continue. From the Manage Registration page, you'll see a few different ways to add sections. Search for sections using the Find Classes tab. You can add sections by course reference number using the Enter CRNs tab, or you can add sections from a saved course plan using the Plans tab. To search for sections, fill in the appropriate search criteria and click the Search button. Sections can be added to your registration summary using the Add button to the right of each row. Sections that have been added will show as pending in the summary panel until you click Submit. To add a section directly by course reference number, enter the CRN. Then click Add to Summary button. Sections can also be added from a course plan. From the Plans tab, you will see a list of all of your saved plans along with the sections in each plan. Click the Add button to add individual sections, or use the Add All button to add all sections from a plan to your summary. As you add sections to your summary, the scheduled days and times will appear in the Visual Schedule panel. Sections will be shown in gray until they are successfully added. Once you're ready to add the selected, press the Submit button. Note that if you change your mind on any courses, you can change the action to remove before submitting or to drop after you've registered. Sections added successfully will display with a green check in the visual schedule and with the status of registered in the summary panel. Any sections where an error occurred will be highlighted in red, and a notice about the issue will be displayed at the top of your screen. In this case, section A01 of Sociology 100A is at capacity and cannot be added. Instead, a student can elect to add themselves to the waitlist in case a seat becomes available. To waitlist in the section, change the action from register to waitlist and click the Submit button again. Waitlisted courses will show a status of waitlisted. To check your position on the waitlist, click the Schedule Details tab from the Schedule panel. You can also check the Schedule Details tab to see any pending registration offers, including the offer expiry time. Sections are all expanded by default now. How to view your position on a waitlist. If you'd like to go back and check your waitlist position after some time has passed, go to Online Tools, select Student Services, and choose Current and Past Schedules under the registration header. The steps we're about to walk through can also be completed from within the Manage Registration page if you prefer. From the Schedules page, make sure you've selected the appropriate term in the Term drop-down field. Waitlisted courses will show a status of waitlisted. Here, ANTH 200, section A01, has been waitlisted, while all other sections are fully registered. To check the position on a waitlist for a course, click the Schedule Details tab in the bottom panel. In this example, a seat has been offered. The waitlist position changes to 0, and the course displays the date and time by which the offer must be accepted. You'll be notified by email to your preferred address when a seat becomes available in the class. If you do not accept by the stated time, you'll be dropped from the waitlist and the seat will be offered to the next student on the list. So prior to the start of the term, you'll have 47 hours from when you are offered a spot to register. And once the term begins, you must register within 23 hours. How to respond to a registration offer. Going back a bit, if you need to set your preferred address, navigate to Online Tools and select Profile, Address, Phone, and Email under the Personal and Account Profile header. Once you've received an offer, an expiry date and time will be displayed in the Schedule Details panel. To accept the offer, change the action drop-down to Register and then click Submit. If registration is successful, you will see that status of the course change to Registered from Waitlisted. So some tips for waitlisting. If you register for the waitlist of a course, you can register for a fallback course, a course that you can be registered in the event that you did not make it to the top of the waitlist for that course. One important note is that you can't register and or waitlist for more than one section of the same numbered course. For example, you couldn't be waitlisted for Biology 184 section A01 and then register for Biology 184 A02 as a fallback. It has to be a totally different course. If you are on a waitlist, make sure that you check your preferred email daily for waitlist offers, especially if you're close to the top of the list. Check the Manage Registration page in Online Tools in addition to your preferred email. Don't forget to accept your registration offer. If you make it to the top of the waitlist and get your spot, make sure that you go in and act on that and manually register for that course through the Schedule Details. And don't forget to drop the fallback course that you registered for once you've successfully accepted the registration offer for any course you're waitlisted in. Speaking of dropping the fallback course, how do you drop a course or section? To drop a class, go to your Online Tools, select Student Services, and choose Manage Registration under the Registration header. Just like before, select the appropriate term and continue. From the Manage Registration page, you'll see a list of all your registered courses in the Summary panel. For each section you wish to drop, change the action drop-down from None to Drop. Once you have selected the drop action for the sections you wish to drop, click Submit to confirm the changes. Note that if the last day for 100% reduction of fees has passed, the drop-down will change to reflect that a drop will no longer be eligible for a full refund of the tuition for a course. September 16th is the last day for 100% reduction of tuition fees for standard first term and full year courses. October 7th is the last day for a 50% reduction of tuition fees for standard courses, and October 31st is the last day for withdrawing from the first term courses without penalty of failure. If you drop a course after the 100% or 50% academic deadline, a fee reduction appeal process is available. For more information on important academic dates, visit uvic.ca/calendar/dates/index. A notification will appear at the top of the screen if the drop is successful. Any dropped courses in your summary panel will show as deleted. At this point, it is safe to navigate away from the page. Additional messages you might encounter often relate to your eligibility for a particular course or a section of a course. This can include field of study restriction, level restriction, year standing restriction, or prerequisite error. Those first two might occur when there's a requirement to be enrolled in a particular program or at a certain level of study in order to register. Departments may place restrictions on who can register in a particular course or designate different sections of a course for students who are either enrolled or not enrolled in one of their programs. Additionally, registration in some courses may be restricted to students in a certain program until a specified date. These restrictions can be checked by clicking on the course name for the course search results and selecting the Enrollment Restrictions tab. Courses may also have a requirement that you have obtained a year standing or have completed prerequisite courses. For example, many 300 and 400 level courses are only open to students with a third year standing or higher, or who have completed the necessary 100 and 200 level prerequisites. Course prerequisites can be reviewed in the academic calendar. Some tips associated with registration. Again, make sure you register as close to your assigned date and time as possible. You don't want to do all this work of planning out your timetable and then Well, the sections you wanted to take are full because you waited too long to register. Make sure that you register for both fall and spring term classes at once. Identify and register for any labs or tutorials associated with your chosen courses. Always make sure that you hit submit changes after any change you make, whether you're adding courses, dropping courses. Don't simply navigate away from the page until you've clicked submit changes. If you're on a waitlist, make sure you stay up to date on your waitlist status. You can check that through manage registration, or also the email that you receive to notify you that you are next on the waitlist. And ensure that you browse our online tutorials, which will cover individual sections of this presentation in more detail that you can review as you need it. Some supports and resources to help you throughout this process. Academic supports. Academic advising is an important resource. Generally, once you've already done a bit of the planning yourself, if you still have questions, you can meet with the academic advising unit for your program area. The experts, the great place to check to make sure that you're taking the courses that you needed, but also a really good resource throughout your time at UVic. They're there to help you navigate the most efficient path through your program. The Center for Academic Communication is there to help you with your university level communication skills, whether it's a written assignment or preparing for a presentation. Their resources and workshops are very helpful in helping you make sure that you are getting the most out of yourself during your time as a student. There are courses and workshops available throughout the term as well, including the credit-based course, EDD 101, Learning Strategies for University Success, which can provide you with all kinds of skills and resources that can help you get the most out of your time as a student. Visiting your professors during their office hours, that's an invaluable resource where you can go and introduce yourself, express interest in the course, ask clarifying questions about content covered in the lecture, and just forge a connection with the professor of any of your courses. And then if you need pragmatic, actionable help with the registration system, if something isn't working or getting an error code you don't understand, the student support at uvic.ca or by phoning 250-721-8121, that will connect you with registration help. The Center for Accessible Learning is an important support. If you have a documented disability or barrier to learning, that you can connect with the CAL as early as possible within your academic journey, anytime after May 1st. For Indigenous students studying at the University of Victoria, the First People's House is like a home away from home. Important to connect with their supports and resources and facilities early on in your academic journey as well. The McPherson Library Learning Commons is a section of the library that is dedicated towards providing academic supports. So connect with them early on in your academic journey. The Student Wellness Center has counselors, physicians and nurses, and spiritual care providers. Also a great contact point to connect with early on in your time at UVic. So what's next at this stage? Our program planning webinars are running throughout the month of May. If you haven't already and were interested in attending a program planning session for your program or faculty, videos will be available, recordings of sessions will be available for computer science, faculty of engineering and computer science, and the humanities, science, and social sciences. Now for on-campus housing, just a reminder that the deadline to apply for first year guarantee on-campus housing was May 1st for qualifying high school students. High school students can still apply after this date, but will not qualify for the first year housing guarantee. The housing lottery deadline for high school graduates and transfer students is May 15th. I'll cover fees and deadlines in a moment, and room offers will start to go out between now and August. Resident Services will send room offers via email between May and August. Qualifying first-year guarantee students can expect to receive their offer before the end of June. If you receive a room offer, please note that it is time sensitive and you'll have 3 days to accept your offer by completing the following. Pay the $1,000 acceptance fee, paying the $250 security deposit, agreeing to the 2026-2027 residence contract terms, and if you're 18 years of age or younger, a parent, guardian must also agree to the contract terms. It is very important to accept your room offer within 3 days, otherwise the room offer is canceled. For timing for financial aid, applying for government student loans is generally a process that is started in June. A lot of them will ask for a verification of enrollment or proof of enrollment. This is only available once you have registered for courses. So since you're registering for courses in early to mid-June, it's generally at that stage or after that you would start the government loan process. It's important to know the deadlines to apply for bursaries and work-study positions. Those dates and deadlines are available at uvic.ca/SAFA, which is short for Student Awards and Financial Aid. And then finding answers to common questions related to financial aid and supports can be found on that same site. Successful recipients will be notified in writing by the Student Awards and Financial Aid Office if you receive a scholarship offer. To accept a scholarship offer, you go to uvic.ca, sign into your UVic online tools using your Netlink ID under Student Services. You'll go under Awards and Financial Aid, select View My Financial Aid, enter the aid year and period, so the term, and select Accept on the scholarships you have been offered. Academic advising, as mentioned, is a very important resource throughout your time as a student. Hopefully we've provided you with tools today in order to come up with your program plan and understand which courses to take for your program area. But if you do have questions, you can always book an appointment, an online appointment with your academic advisor. This is an extraordinarily busy time for their office, so make sure you get in touch early as it may take up to 2 weeks to meet online with an advisor. The new Student Essentials program is a 4-part video series highlighting resources, locations, and services on campus that support student life at UVic. All new students are encouraged to watch the 4 videos in the series before the fall term starts. The series will launch early July, and you'll receive an email from the UVic Student Life team when they become available. They highlight resources, locations, and services on campus that support student life at UVic. You'll learn tips and tricks from current students about navigating your first year here, what to expect at UVic inside and outside of the classroom, what UVic supports and services are available to you. Each video is approximately 10 minutes long, so it's definitely worth watching those when they become available in July. Now for Arrival in the fall, you'll start to receive emails from the Office of Student Life team with a listing of all orientation events, dates and times. So those will start rolling out in July. And then Sunday, September 6th and Monday, September 7th are the residence move-in days and residence orientation. And then on Wednesday, September 9th, classes begin. The First Year Interconnect or FYI program is offered by the Office of Student Life. It's a great opportunity to connect early with an upper year student mentor, start building your UVic community before your classes even begin, learn about resources and supports that are available to you as a student, and meet other students, either mentors or other students participating in the program at fun and casual events. If you haven't already done so, or maybe you haven't done one of these in a while, we offer our in-person campus tour program. You can come check out the campus any day between Monday and Saturday. Well, any day other than Sundays or statutory holidays. These are in-person tours led by current UVic students and a great opportunity to see the campus and up close and personal, see what it feels like to be here, and start to learn your way around campus. Stay connected with us on social media, where you can get inspired by current students and alumni and start sharing about your own experience. So that's it for the Registration 101 presentation. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully this provided you with some helpful, useful, actionable information. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you in September.